弟兄姊妹平安，我哋請打開聖經如果可以嘅話，打開聖經創世記第32章。
So, brothers and sisters, may peace with you. If you can, please open the Bible to Genesis chapter 32.
今日我哋嘗試睇一個嘅異象，一個嘅經歷。
Today we're going to study another vision.
本來我諗住睇啟示錄去做一個嘅異象方面嘅總結，但係太多啦，我都好難一堂講晒。
Okay. So actually, I was planning to study the book of
Revelation.
And but there's too many versions mentioned there, so it's hard for me to summarize.
咁我哋轉咗去睇雅各一個嘅片段。
So instead, we're going to study what happened, or the vision that happened to Jacob.
都係好適合喺我哋呢個時候去思想或者做一個嘅總結，人生嘅一個總結。
And actually, this passage is also suitable for us as a summary of what happened about the visions.
如果你留意新聞啊，或者娛樂新聞乜嘢都好啦，我估你都會聽過前幾個禮拜咧有一場好緊要嘅boxing fighting OK 有冇睇啊？
So you pay attention to news, you may notice recently there was a boxing match.
有冇聽過啊？
Have you heard this?
可能你唔關心或者冇去睇，但係你嘅 Facebook 可能嗰晚都洗底係嘛？洗版啊。
Even though you don't care about this match, but you may have noticed that because through lots of Facebook message.
阿Paul 對泰神
This is the Paul against Tyson.
即係一個後生一個老嘅。
Young boxer against kind of elder fighter.
泰神喎。
Tyson
好打喎。
Tyson was a very famous boxer.
阿葉問都係頂得3分鐘喎。
Even in the movie, the Chinese kung fu can only fight with him for 3 minutes.
係咪啊？即係葉 man 咁好打係咪？啲詠春都係捱到3分鐘。
So he was such a famous boxer and very strong.
你知邊個贏㗎啦？
You know the result, right, of this game?
梗係拳怕少壯啊！
So it seems obviously the young one.
你揾佢同我打，梗係佢打死我啦。
The young one usually stronger.
但我哋要問一個問題：一個拳賽全城轟動，
You may ask a question. Such a famous boxing game.
幾多億人去睇？
There's lots of audience.
串流平台斷咗我哋好緊張要撲翻。
Even the social media is overloaded.
但我想問，啲場拳賽對你人生有咩意義？
However, with that match, have any impact on your life?
或者可能對阿 Paul 對 Tyson， 可能佢嘅意義就係每人都袋幾千萬，係咪？
The meaning for Paul and Tyson may be that it's a lot of money they can make.
明嗎？就算贏咗Tyson都唔可以咁張牙舞爪，係咪？係咪？都要俾翻幾分薄面Tyson。
Even Tyson lose, he's still kind of respected boxer.
一場嘅拳賽對佢哋人生產生乜嘢意義？對你同我人生又可以產生咩意義咧？
In such a match, we have any meaningful in your life?
今日我哋睇創世記嘅第32章。
When we study the chapter 32 of Genesis,
我哋睇到一場嘅摔跤嘅比賽。
we can also see a wrestling match of
係
fight.
雅各對唔知乜水。
Is Jacob fight against someone.
咁呢場嘅比賽咧，對雅各嘅人生產生一個好大嘅改變。
However, in this time, the match or the fight have a lot of impact on Jacob's life.
嗰種嘅改變唔係因為贏與輸嘅問題。
The change is not about the result.
而係喺一個雅各最人生最緊要嘅片段，最彷徨嘅人生，最迷惘嘅前路，喺當中俾雅各一個好清楚嘅確定。
It's a time that Jacob faced lots of struggling, and this is because this fight that give Jacob get a direction in his life.
呢個嘅摔角能夠帶動雅各面對佢明天要處理嘅事情。
So this fight allow make Jacob aware how to handle his future.
如果呢一個嘅異象只係俾雅各一個人，
With this vision just for Jacob,
點解聖經用咁多嘅篇幅去記載？
then why the Bible, the Scripture, record that this into details?
咁即係意思話，呢個嘅異象唔單止成為雅各人生嘅一個轉捩點，更加成為歷世歷代嘅人。如果你明白當中嘅意思，都成為你人生一個嘅轉捩點。
So that means this event is not just a turning point of Jacob. It could be yours if you understand the meaning.
因為你同我喺人生唔同嘅時候，喺人生某一個嘅片段，可能我哋都去到一啲嘅時機情況。
So maybe because we all may be facing a moment that we have lots of difficulty and challenges.
我哋唔知道應該點樣行。
We may not know even how to move forward.
或者我哋面對下一步，我哋感覺到莫名嘅恐懼。
We may fear what the next steps would be.
我哋會產生彷徨，
We are wondering.
或者喺當中嘅裏邊，你衡量你自己嘅人生。
And we try to decide what our life would be.
神容讓呢啲嘅情況喺雅各嘅出現，或者喺你我嘅人生出現，可能將呢一個危機會化為一個嘅轉機。
God allow all this crisis happen to Jacob's life and our life because He wants us to know how to change this opportunity into this crisis into opportunity for us.
雅各喺呢一個片段嘅當中改變咗佢嘅人生。
Jacob changed his life through this event.
弟兄姊妹，
Brothers and sisters,
巴不得我哋今日明白呢一個嘅事蹟背後嘅屬靈意義，
brothers and sisters, may we all understand the meaning of this vision for us.
以致我哋喺現在呢個時機可以改變咗我哋嘅人生，以致我哋能夠更加按着神嘅心意面對我哋嘅將來。
So we know how to change our life right now so we can follow God's will in the future.
因為雅各喺當中有3方面特別嘅更新。
There are 3 aspects that Jacob had transformed and transcended himself.
今日我哋睇嘅人物嘅主角嘅名稱叫咩名啊？
What's the name of the character we're going to study today?
咩名？雅各。
Jacob.
雅各係咩意思？
What's the meaning of Jacob?
如果你睇雅各呢個嘅名嘅意思叫做爪啊。
Jacob has the meaning of grasping.
搲。
Grasping whatever you can.
亦都有一個嘅附加嘅意思係叫做欺騙。
It also have another meaning is cheating.
喺舊約嘅裏邊，好多人物佢嘅名字唔係亂咁起。
There is in the Old Testament there's the name of some person.
佢嘅名
is a meaning or have meanings.
有時一啲嘅名字會有預言嘅意味，或者個嘅名字係代表嗰個人嘅性格，或者係一啲嘅情況。
So the name could be a kind of parable, and also maybe a meaning that for showing his characters.
嗱，考翻你啦，雅各嘅意思，雅各嘅名嘅意思叫乜嘢啊？
So we ask again, what's the meaning of Jacob?
爪係咪搲係咁搲嚇？咁點解佢個名會係咁樣咧？如果你留意喺創世記25章講到雅各出世。
So why Jacob's name like that when we pay attention to chapter 25 of Genesis?
雅各同佢嘅哥哥以掃係孖胎。
Jacob and Esau are twin brothers.
咁啊，當佢哋出世嘅時候，
And when they were born,
咁阿哥即係爭幾秒嘅啫，阿哥出啦，
the elder one, Esau, was born.
咁就雅各就，哇！即係喺個啱啱出世，抓住阿哥隻腳。
And Jacob's hand grabbed Esau's heel.
哇！所以雅各可能因此哇！你咁識搲咁啊，你就搲啦，你就叫雅各。
Maybe because he was grabbing Esau's heel, then he was named Jacob.
雅各嘅人生真係不斷搲嘅喎。
But actually, in the whole life of Jacob, he grabs a lot of the time.
當有一日佢嘅哥好餓，打完獵翻嚟嘅時候，佢就用一個嘅紅豆湯就換取咗佢阿哥長子嘅名分。
And one day, when Esau was so hungry after the hunting, so Jacob used a stove to get the inheritance from, or the firstborn inheritance from Esau.
嗱，出世嗰時冇咗呢個機會，佢唔係就咁放過，佢繼續搲，希望你，哇！而家趁你餓攞你命，跟住你賣俾我，我咪一碗湯，原來長子名分得一碗湯。
So not just when Jacob was born, he grabbed it, and even when he would get older, he grabbed the birthright from Esau.
點解雅各又叫欺騙？
So why Jacob also mean cheating?
趁佢嘅爸老啦，
When his father
眼
was
又
old,
矇，
when Isaac was old,
耳又唔係咁好。
he was not very have a clear mind.
哎呀，總之有個仔嚟，哎呀摸下佢，哇係啦，好多毛㗎，似阿哥啦咁啊，跟住為你祝福，咁啊哇用啲動物嘅皮，跟住當咗阿哥，跟住就呃咗長子嘅祝福。
So when Isaac was old and not very clear in his mind, so Jacob pretended to be Esau, and when Isaac feel this is, and then Jacob cheat in that way to get the blessing from Isaac.
有咗長子名分，有咗長子祝福，換嚟嘅可能佢要流亡。
Even though Jacob get the first blessing from Isaac and all the first birth privilege, and he still defeat.
呢個結局係咪讓雅各有蘇醒？
And he had to defeat from his brother, but with that, this happening make Jacob aware his problem.
雅各又去惡長嘅地方，去拉班嘅家裏邊嘅時候，幫佢打工，又俾人但佢又翻人，係嘛？咁跟住嘅時候就將佢差唔多惡長嗰啲嘅財寶據攞咗詳細唔講啦，有機會先至睇雅各人生唔係有排講。
And then Jacob continued to use his cheating to, for example, get his wealth, the wealth from his father-in-law Laban.
冇錯，擁有好多嘅財寶，但係換嚟咩啊？佢要逃命。
Even though he grabs a lot of wealth, but what in exchange he have to flee from his home country.
面對好多嘅財寶，帶住好多財寶，諗住翻屋企揾翻阿哥。
Even though when he get up, have all this wealth and want to return home to find his twin brother.
諗住我有咁多嘅禮物，俾啲禮物去見阿哥，咁跟住阿哥睇住禮物份上，好好接待我。
So what you can expect is, well, with all this money and wealth that I gave to my brother, he should forget me.
點知翻嚟嘅報告阿哥以掃帶着400人嚟，去接你。
The message returned was his brother Esau is having hundreds of people with 400 people, a man with him is coming.
雅各即刻恐懼。
And then Jacob was so feared.
哇！阿哥帶住400人嚟，死緊啦！
Oh, now I'm going to die because 400 people is coming.
明唔明啊？我有好多財寶，但係嗰啲唔係打慣仗啊嘛，我去到唔夠打。
So even though I have a lot of weight, but we don't have enough fighter to fight with them.
人生可能我哋都會面對雅各一個嘅情況。
In our life, we may have a similar situation as Jacob.
喺我哋人生不斷去爭取擁有，我以為嗰啲嘅嘢係好寶貴。
When you try to grab or try to get lots of things, and you think this is all the valuable stuff we should get.
但係可能去到一啲嘅位或者一啲嘅情況，我哋知道原來嗰啲嘅事、嗰啲嘅東西唔係可以俾我哋永恆擁有。
However, you may get into a situation that you realize that all this wealth or the valuable stuff we get cannot give us the eternal.
喺呢啲嘅位，我哋會點樣處？
When we realize that, how we're going to deal with it or handle it.
雅各喺呢一個啲嘅位置嘅時候，雅各做咗幾樣嘢。
For Jacob, he have done several things.
雅各第一樣嘅時候，將佢嘅財寶分為兩隊，派一隊行先。
So Jacob divided his wealth into two groups, and then one group moved first.
跟住分兩隊，如果阿哥嚟打呢一隊，第二隊希望走啦。
With Esau attack one group, and then the other one just escape.
其實雅各點解會咁做？
But why Jacob?
雅各佢諗到人生當面對危機嘅時候，有乜嘢可以放低？
So when Jacob realized there will be crisis in his life, what he can give up?
你嘅財寶
He gave up the treasure.
唔可以幫助你保命。
You let go. The treasure cannot help you to keep your life.
跟住雅各又有咩嘅動作？
And then Jacob also.
你會留意跟住嘅時候，佢就將佢嘅兒女佢嘅仔同埋佢嘅太太就先過河。
So he led his wife and sons to pass the river first, cross the river first.
可能我就覺得哇，雅各咁衰啊，係咪？抌低啲仔家爺仔乸係咪啊？
So you may think that Jacob's such a bad person. He was bad. He just left for the family.
你轉一轉去諗一諗，可能如果哥要尋仇，即係揾我啊，嗰啲可以走啊。
You may think it that way though. That with Esau, the brothers could to maybe just kill him and then let the family go.
雅各意識到，原來人生可能有一啲你最寶貴嘅親人或者親戚，可能去到一啲嘅位，你都要放。
So Jacob realized, even though the relative or the person you care a lot, you had to let go in some case.
仔女都未必會永遠跟住你。
Even your children may not able to follow you all the time.
雅各喺嗰一晚嘅裏邊，佢發現一樣嘢。
And Jacob realized one thing in that night.
原來過去佢不斷去尋找去搲嘅嘢嘅時候，換嚟嘅佢只係孤獨一人。
So Jacob may realize that what he been grabbing at the end is what he's only himself live alone.
我不斷去搲，諗住去得到嘅嘢，換來只係一個人去面對佢自己未知嘅將來。
Even we have got a lot and had a lot, but eventually he is only live alone and by himself to face the future.
呢個唔係淨係雅各嘅專利，
But this is not only happened to Jacob.
不過雅各喺嗰一刻明白。
And not just Jacob just understood it during that time.
如果你睇約伯，
Even though when we look at Job,
約伯嘅一開始，當約伯擁有好多嘢，一下子冇咗嘅時候，
so similarly when Job had owned lots of things, but and then one night he lost everything.
約伯明白到我人生好似赤身出於母胎，就要赤身嘅歸回。
Then Job realized and said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart."
原來約伯唔係淨係講自己嘅人生，約伯係講到我哋每一個嘅人生。原來我哋赤身而嚟，而赤身而走。
So Job is not just talking about himself. It also actually happened to us. We come with nothing. We also leave with nothing.
人喺呢啲嘅情況要問乜嘢係佢嘅人生最重要嘅事情？
Then when in the time we were asked that was the most thing in our life.
或者再調教我人生乜嘢係需要我持守或者抓住。
We may have to change or adjust our lives. So that was the most important thing we should hold firm or grab.
你會喺呢一個迷惘嘅時刻出現咗有一個嘅人，
And then during that time, someone show up in Jacob's life.
呢個人出嚟做乜嘢？去同佢摔跤。
What that man do? He want to wrestle with Jacob.
如果俾你係雅各，當時可能你話：唉，冇心情同你玩。
If you're Jacob, you may say, "Oh, I'm not in the mood to match with you."
但雅各就同佢打。
However, Jacob wrestled with that man.
摔跤咗成晚。
They wrestled for the whole night.
跟住呢個人話：我要走啦。
Then the man say he had to go.
雅各回答咗一個嘅問題，回答咗個情況。
Then Jacob replied a situation.
可能你好詫異點解雅各會咁樣講。
And you may surprised in Jacob's reply.
26節話：那人說天黎明啦，容我去吧。雅各說：你不給我祝福，我就不用你。
The scripture said, then the man said, I may go, for this is daybreak. But Jacob replied, I will not let you go unless you bless me.
咁即係換句嚟講，雅各要乜嘢啊？你唔祝福我，你唔好走啊！
So Jacob won, unless you give me the blessing, I will not let you go.
哇！如果雅各打贏，喂，唔係叫佢攞擺低你條命，或者擺低乜嘢啊？而雅各喺裏邊嘅時候，錢我就有個，命我好多條，係咪？你冇意思啊！我仲可以要乜嘢？祝福。
So in Jacob's life, he has owned lots of things, the wealth and also the family. But now, what he wants is get a blessing.
明唔明啊？遲啲我哋再睇呢一個究竟係人定係神定係乜嘢？
Later, we will try to understand who that man was.
我估去到呢一個嘅情況。
In this situation,
雅各應該反省人生最需要係乜嘢？一個嘅祝福。
So Jacob reflected his life. What he expect most at that time is the blessing.
可能係從人而嚟嗰種嘅祝福。
Maybe the blessing or from people.
哎呀，我人生點解要搞到走足大半世人呢？
So why my life so far has been fighting or feeling?
點解要搞成咁？
Why
我需要點解同我哥搞成咁？
Why I get into such a bad situation? Why my relation was so broken up with my brother?
雅各認定，如果我同我哥好好地，根本唔需要面對我今日嘅處境。人與人之間嘅關係和諧係一種嘅祝福。
Why I get into such a bad relationship with so many people in such Jacob realized a harmony is something he would expect now.
如果嗰個係天使或者係神嘅時候，我更加需要佢嘅祝福。
If that man is God or angel, then Jacob thinks he should get the blessing from him.
因為面對我前路嘅時候，冇人可以幫助我，除咗主。
So because when I need to handle my future, I don't get any help except from the God.
原來人生喺嗰陣嘅片段嘅裏邊，最寶貴嘅就係一個祝福。
So maybe in a moment that, like Jacob, he faced all this crisis, what the most valuable thing is a blessing.
其實喺整個嘅路上嘅裏邊，雅各不斷嘅反省。
Even though in his whole journey returning home, there's a reflection from Jacob.
佢反省到佢離開嘅時候，雖然佢都曾經面對過恐懼戰驚嘅時候，但係神俾佢嘅祝福。
He may reflect himself, even though he had been in fear and before, but God still gave him the blessing.
32章嘅時候，雅各都一路去面對佢嘅哥嘅時候，佢諗翻神啊，你唔係祝福我咩？
So when in chapter 32 of Genesis, Jacob thinks,
你叫我回本族嘅。
for that, when he
你話會用厚恩待我嘅，
the fact that is that God, you asked me to return to the home country to build a relationship with Esau.
你喺我人生裏邊施下好多嘅恩典慈愛，係我唔配嘅。
God, you have give me lots of blessing or provision that I'm not worth of it.
或者你唔係應許過我嘅後裔好似海邊嘅沙咁多。
Oh God, you told me that my descendants will like sands of the sea.
雅各去到最無助嘅片段，去找住嘅神俾佢嘅應許，佢嘅祝福。
When Jacob feels so helpless in his life, then what he only want to get or he had is the blessing from God.
雅各唔係求財富，
Jacob he didn't ask for the wealth
佢有
anymore
過，佢有，
because he had the wealth already.
但佢知道原來去到嗰啲嘅位，又何妨？
Because, however, Jacob realized that even in that situation, even the wealth cannot help.
弟兄姊妹，原來雅各喺呢個片段面對呢個逆境，去重新去反省佢人生嘅價值。
So, when Jacob was facing all this crisis, he reflected himself, what is the value of his life.
雅各唔係唔知道神，
Jacob knew God.
唔知道乜嘢叫屬靈嘅價值，
He knew
但
what is
係
the
知與行係兩件事。
he also knew what's the spiritual value, but understanding and practice is two different things.
去到呢一個嘅片段，雅各再一次好認真嚟到上主嘅面前，去重整佢人生嘅價值。
In that moment, Jacob adjusts his life and his life value and spiritual life value.
原來人生可以有好多嘢可以冇咗，唔緊要，但係主嘅祝福我哋要抓住。
In life, we can lose everything except the God's blessing. We should hold firm.
因為佢相信唯有神嘅祝福能夠帶俾我，能夠面對我未知嘅將來。
Because only God's blessing can help me to face the unknown future.
雅各話俾我聽，原來人生面對困難，喺困難嘅裏邊，正係我哋重整我哋人生價值嘅時機。
Jacob's experience told us that when we are facing all these challenges and crises, it's the opportunity for us to adjust our life value.
喺呢個重整嘅時機，讓我哋能夠揾到乜嘢係真正嘅重要，神嘅祝福。
So and let us to find that the most important way of life is get the blessing from God.
弟兄姊妹，讓我哋今日嚟到上帝嘅面前，我哋能夠認定一樣嘢，喺你人生嘅裏邊有乜嘢係最重要嘅？係神嘅祝福。
So, brothers and sisters, when we come to the Lord today, let us to reveal ourselves that the most important in our life is the blessing from God.
明白？同隔離講聲，願主祝福你。
May you talk to each other next to you that may God bless you.
弟兄姊妹，我相信嗰陣時雅各認定主嘅祝福唔係主就俾我發達，幫我揾翻。
I'm pretty sure Jacob at that moment is not, oh God, give me the blessing that I can get the wealth back again.
有主嘅祝福就唔怕明天。
Actually, is when we get the God's blessing that we don't need to be afraid of what happened to tomorrow.
面對翻到去故鄉嘅路程，
When Jacob was returning home,
雅各當佢知道哥哥400人嚟揾佢，
he knew that Esau and 400 men is approaching.
是吉是凶
Is a good thing or bad thing?
唔知道，
He didn't know.
但係啲情景最怕萬一係咪？咁係諗啊，梗係凶㗎啦。
However, in this moment is we try to take the least risk.
越諗越驚。
And Jacob was getting afraid.
聖經刻意形容雅各當時嘅心情。
So the Bible purposely described what the feeling of Jacob at that time.
聖經裏邊喺第7節話，雅各就甚懼怕， 而且受煩咧。
The Bible said in verse 7, in great fear and the distress, that was the feeling of Jacob at that time.
好驚，
He was in great fear.
唔知道點做，咪煩咯。
He doesn't know what to do, so he was so distressed.
原來人生裏邊嘅時候，雖然擁有好多嘅嘢換來嘅，可能令到你恐懼受煩。
In our life, we own lots of things, but actually in return, what we get is just the fear and distress.
我估好清，啲經文好清楚煩乜嘢。
So,
喺第11節佢嘅祈禱裏邊話：神啊，求你救我脱離我哥哥以掃的手。
So from verse 11, we can understand what the fear of Jacob did at that time, because Jacob prayed, "Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau."
雅各好難同人去表達佢嘅處境，但佢好真誠去到上主嘅面前話俾，因為我怕佢嚟殺我，連我妻子帶兒女一同殺了。
Because even though Jacob may be not able to talk to anyone, but he prayed to God humbly and honestly that he was afraid because that Jacob will come and kill his family.
我唔知你有冇諗過，點解呢個人嚟要同雅各摔跤？
Do you think of why that man had to come to have wrestling with Jacob?
咁多嘢玩，點解唔玩咧？
There's so many
包剪揼，
different ways or different games or
嗎
match. So why wrestling?
何家公仔、何家執，不過佢哋唔識啊，可能。
There's so many kind of competition. Why wrestling?
不過都可以識好多嘢㗎。
But there's lots of different ways.
點解摔角？
But why
摔
just
跤
whistling? So why just whistling?
摔跤襟玩啲啊嘛。
We take longer for whistling.
摔跤係咩啊？大家一齊比力。
So what whistling try to do is how we to find who is stronger.
點樣先贏啊？
How we can win.
我將你摔低，咁就贏。
We're not
OK？ 摔低啊！
whistling you down or push you on the on the ground.
但係兩個比試咗成晚。
However, they have been matching for the whole night.
喂，邊個贏咧？我哋就喺度問啦。
Do you know who win the game, the match?
邊個贏啊？
Who won the match in that game?
喂，嗰個人話自己勝唔過去喎。
Then that man say, "Oh, I cannot overpower him."
咁即係邊個贏啊？
Then who won the game, the match?
咁就雅各贏係咪啊？哦，咁就係，但係你會睇翻，我冇摔低佢，但係我又冇俾佢摔低喎。呢個應該係咩啊 ？Super 打和係咪？
So, yeah, you understand. We can see there's no one was.
佢最好嘅都打和係咪？應該打和嘅係咪？
So this should be a tie game.
但係你會記得呢一個喎，嗰個人話我打唔贏佢。
Because he said, I can't overpower.
但係如果你再睇，對唔住啊，但如果你再睇嘅時候，嗰個人將雅各嗰個 hip 摸咗下，哎呀，扭親添。
However, you look further, it's that man which is Jacob's hip.
即係啲點數應該邊個贏啊？
Then you can see who should be the winner in this game.
我唔理同你贏唔贏啊，不過你傷咗啊。
Then the result was, even though I may not win, but you are hurt.
但係當嗰個人佢自己都講喎，你以後叫做以色列，因為你同與神與人較力都得勝啊。
So and also the man said, you're going to name Jacob because you have struggled with God and with man and have overcome.
如果雅各好在意邊個贏，
With Jacob, we care who is the winner
或者呢度嘅重點係邊個贏，
and who is the focus on who win the game.
話
who win
雅
the
各
game.
就唔係叫嗰個人你幫我祝福，而係你擺低晒你，連你條命擺低。
if there's the main point, then Jacob will not just ask will not ask the blessing. Otherwise, it's all everything that man owns.
如果係雅各贏，哇！你話幫我改名啊，幫我改名，我幫你改個花名添啊！你明個意思嘛？啊
Jacob won the match, then say, "Oh, I not just give me a new name. I want to expect more."
啊，跟住嗰個人問你叫咩名啊？
Then the man asked, "What's your name?"
啊，你叫雅各。
So you name Jacob, right?
你唔好再叫雅各啦，
So you no longer be Jacob,
你叫以色列。
but Israel.
啊，以色列係咩意思啊？
So what the meaning of Israel?
你話俾我聽。以色列咩意思啊？得勝，可唔可以講多少少？呢個係解釋，因為佢同人與神都得勝了。嗰個以色列嘅意思係咩啊？讓神去得勝啊！所以啱啊！
The actual meaning of Israel is let God prevail.
明嗎？所以喺當中嘅時候，雅各你幫我改呢個名，呢個名好有意思。
So Jacob think, "Oh, this is such a meaningful name."
唔係呢個名嘅意思，唔係誇耀我可以去得神人嘅得勝，而係我認定嘅時候，我讓神喺我生命裏邊嘅得勝。
So the name is not meaning that, "Oh, I have overcome God. I'm so proud of myself." Rather than in my life, I would let God to prevail and be handle my life.
面對未知嘅將來嘅時候，我點樣可以面對我哥啊？喺呢個時候點解摔角啊？能力嘅表現。
So in the time of crisis, why Jacob went to the wrestling is a way to show the strength and the power.
雅各有一啲嘅信心喺神人面前，我都可以得勝。如果我靠着主，我喺神人面前都可以得勝。
So Jacob think, "Oh, in my own effort, I can still fight with or wrestle with God, and then by God, for sure, I will get the victory."
我驚哥哥個400人，但係如果我將呢一個恐懼交託俾神，神人當中我可以得勝。
Even though Jacob was facing 400 people, but he trusts in God and let God prevail, then for sure he will get the victory.
弟兄姊妹啊，你有冇試過驚
Brother, have you experienced in great fear?
乜嘢會令到你驚？
What you make you fear?
當你恐懼嘅時候，你會點樣去面對？
And how you respond to all the fear?
或者通常當你面對恐懼，你束手無策嘅時候，你會點樣去面對？
When you face the fear and nothing can do, how to handle or address it?
弟兄姊妹，當我哋面對我哋處理唔到嘅時候，我哋好想去處理得好或者得勝。
When it's something we cannot handle or address anymore, however, we still want to get a hand of it.
雅各認定可以得勝，當我靠着主，主就讓我去得勝。
So Jacob, to address the fear is when I trust in God, then I will let God reveal. Then He can get He can address the fear.
雅各當佢面對逆境嘅時候，面對恐懼嘅時候，佢重整佢自己嘅能力。
When Jacob was in crisis, he kind of renewed his strength.
原來真正嘅能力唔係喺我哋裏邊，而係我哋係依靠神而得嘅能力。
And actually, the real strength is not from us. Instead, we get the strength when we trust in God and rely on Him.
去賦予我嘅能力。
And it's the strength that comes from the God.
呢個摔跤 affirm 咗雅各可以面對明天。
The victory affirm Jacob that he can face tomorrow.
佢有能力去面對明天。
He could face tomorrow with the strength.
以賽亞書提我哋等候耶和華重新得力，必如鷹展翅上騰，奔跑不困倦，行走不乏疲乏。
Isaiah 31 reminds us about those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint.
你要依靠乜嘢嘅能力？
What strength or power you would rely on?
最後，
And lastly,
你會留意喺呢一個嘅摔跤嘅過程。
so in this wrestling with God,
嗰個人問雅各你叫咩名，跟住幫佢改咗名。雅各好自然回應一個問題：你又叫咩名？
when the man give Jacob a new name, and naturally Jacob respond to ask, "What's your name?"
咁嗰個人冇話俾聽佢邊個啊？
Did that man reply?
冇啊。
No, he didn't
明白
reply.
但咁呢一個係究竟係乜水咧？
So what that man was.
可能雅各會覺得呢個係神，或者我哋會覺得呢個係神嚇。
We think that man is God.
或者可能呢一個係神嘅使者咧。
And he may be an angel from God.
神冇理由打輸噶嘛，或者打和。
So for sure, there's no way that God can lose or even tie on a king.
但係呢個使者如果係神差遣嚟嘅時候，叫佢唔好打贏，俾佢有 affirmation， 咁都何妨？明唔明？
With this angel, then he may fool this tie game to keep. It's not a big deal that it can become a tie game and affirm Jacob's faith.
何西亞書12章嘅裏邊，佢形容到雅各嘅引用雅各嘅人生，講到呢一個佢與天使較力並且得勝。
So the Hosea called the experience of Jacob and said he struggled with the angel and overcame him.
所以呢一個重點都唔係呢一個係乜水。
Actually, the focus still not who that man was.
呢一個重點嘅時候，你會留意雅各最後做咗一個咩行動？
And what the main point is, what Jacob has done after that.
佢改變咗一個名稱。
He changed the name of a place.
人改變佢嘅名，佢又改變一個名稱啊！
So if someone changed his name, he changed someone as a place name.
佢將當時身處嘅地方改咗一個名，叫做比努伊勒。
So Jacob called the place Peniel.
比努伊勒佢裏邊聖經裏邊講話，意思説我面對面見神，我嘅性命得以全保。
The Bible said the meaning of Peniel is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared.
所以呢一度嘅重點，雅各所講嘅重點係咩啊？
So the main point of the whole Jacob
我嘅命得以全保喎。
is my life was spared.
你成日乜嘢都要巴㗎，係咪全保係咪？
You want to have our life fully protect all the time.
全保啊！喺神裏邊有全保啊
In God, our life was spared.
昆奴伊勒嘅意思係咩啊？神嘅面。
So the meaning of Peniel is the face of God.
當我哋見到神嘅面，我哋親近神嘅與我哋同在嘅時候，我哋生命就得以全保。
When we see God's face and we have a good relationship with God, our life was spared.
呢個係雅各一個慣常嘅轉捩點。
This is a natural way for a turning point of Jacob.
每一次當雅各去經歷神或者 encounter 到神嘅時候，喺嗰個地方佢都會幫佢改名。
So every time when Jacob encountered God, he changed the name of the places.
創世記28章，當佢逃走離開家庭，怕咗去哥哥嘅追殺。
Genesis 28 mentioned that Jacob tried to escape from Esau.
神讓佢望見天梯。
And God led him to see the ladder from the gate of heaven.
神對佢一啲嘅鼓勵，
And God gave him some encouragement.
佢將嗰笪嘅地方改名叫做伯特利，
And then Jacob called that place Bethel.
神嘅殿嘅意思。
That means God's synagogue.
因為喺呢一笪地方，好似神嘅殿，可以 encounter 到神，可以接觸到神，可以經歷到神。
So this is the synagogue similar to synagogue God, that he can encounter God in that place.
現在佢再一次經歷到神俾佢嘅鼓勵，佢人生嘅轉捩點，佢將嗰個地方叫做昆奴比爾係咪？昆
And now,
奴伊納係咪？昆奴伊納。
yeah, he renamed the place that he will whistle with the man Peniel.
我見到神嘅面，
I can see God's face.
弟兄姊妹，每一個人嘅經歷。
And we have our own experience.
神可能透過好多唔同嘅機會，去讓我哋能夠經歷到佢。
God may be full a lot of opportunity in our life that we can encounter with him.
可能神平時都在，但我哋冇懷疑佢嘅同在。但係當喺逆境嘅裏邊，我哋知道需要神，我哋喺嗰個嘅時機，我哋就 encounter 到神。
We may not notice that God's presence is up with us, and however, when we are in crisis, we will really realize that we are able to encounter with God.
當我經歷到神嘅時候，原來我人生所擁有，我所得到各樣嘅祝福，原來呢位嘅神賜俾我。
When we are able to encounter with God, then realize that all the blessing we have
弟兄
is
姊
from
妹
God.
喺你嘅人生有冇伯特利？
So, brother, sister, in your life, do you have a Bethel?
有冇昆奴伊納？
Do you have the Peniel?
喺乜嘢嘅地方你能夠與主有親自嘅經歷咧？
In what place you can have experience
What-
and encounter God?
或者神讓你喺當中有更深嘅經歷？
And also God may give you opportunity to experience Him even further.
每一次當佢雅各最恐懼嘅時候，最彷徨嘅時候，佢經歷到神，
When Jacob was in great fear and he worried, he can encounter God.
或者佢留意到神，
And he realized God is around or is there all the time.
因為喺天梯嘅經歷，雅各講咗一句説話。
Because after the experience of the gate of heaven,
原來神喺當中，我竟然不知。
and Jacob said, "Oh, God has been present all the time, and I didn't realize."
弟兄姊妹喺你人生裏邊，神等待我哋好多嘅機會，讓你去經歷佢。
Brother, sister, in our life, God have provided lots of opportunity and wait for us so we can face God and
我哋
encounter
有
God.
冇把握呢啲嘅機會，讓呢啲嘅機會，讓我見到神嘅面？
Did we take this opportunity so we can really face God and encounter God?
當我哋面對未知嘅將來，
When we are facing an uncertain future,
雅各面對明天，
when Jacob faced uncertain
神
concerning
讓
the
佢
future,
更新神嘅同在。
and God allowed God to renew his thinking of God's presence.
雅各得到鼓勵，得到滿足，得到平安，因為佢見到神嘅面。
And Jacob get his and keep all his present because he can see God's face.
保羅喺羅馬書咁講，
And Paul said in the book of Romans,
保羅都面對好多困難。喂，
Paul have lots of difficulty in
做
his
基督
life.
徒都會有困難，侍奉主嘅保羅都會面對困難。
As Christians, we always have crisis. Even Paul have crisis in his life.
但係保羅認定一句嘅説話，佢話：神若幫助我們，誰能敵擋我們呢？
However, Paul hold firm that if God is for us, who can be against us?
如果我哋人生裏邊有主嘅祝福，我哋能夠見到神嘅面，主就讓我哋去得勝。
So we can realize we will have the blessing from God and we can encounter God, then we can be get the victory.
喺呢個摔跤嘅經歷嘅裏邊，
In this vision of wrestling,
雅各嘅人生再一次被更新，再一次被升華。
and Jacob transform and transcend his life.
弟兄姊妹，可能喺我哋嘅人生裏邊，可能我哋會類似有啲嘅嘢，我哋摔跤緊，同神摔跤緊，同人摔跤緊。
Brothers and sisters, maybe in our life, or even experience that similarly, that we are struggling or wrestling or struggling with someone, with God
摔
or
跤
with
緊
someone.
啊！即係你嘅功，我嘅功，你嘅名，我嘅名啊 ，politics，right？
So during wrestling, we try to fight and get all the credit or the name.
有時處呢啲嘅情況都唔易處嘅，
When we are in such a situation of struggling,
巴不得我哋將呢啲嘅情況轉為我哋一個屬靈嘅一個嘅經歷。
but we transform all this bad experience into opportunity.
重整乜嘢嘅人生嘅價值，重整乜嘢嘅你嘅能力從邊度嚟，重整神喺邊度。
So it's opportunity to renew what's our life value, where the strength come from, and what is and renew our belief of God's
以致
presence.
我哋懂得找住人生最重要嘅係主俾我哋嘅祝福，神靠着主去得勝，主與我哋同在，見到主嘅面係我哋嘅喜樂。
So we can hold firm that God's blessing can help us to get into victory, and we can encounter God, we can get the strength.
讓我哋能夠透過呢首詩歌，讓我哋再一次投靠喺神自己嘅蔭下。
So maybe through this hymn, we going to trust in God and hidden our faith and soul.
讓神成為我哋嘅倚靠，讓神成為我哋嘅保護，讓神成為我哋嘅滿足。
And maybe we learn how to trust in
我哋
God
一齊
and
起立，
have
我哋唱
God's
一首
protection
回應
and
嘅詩
guidance.
歌。